Let's get into the predicted lineup. Hoffenheim against Tottenham Hotspur in our penultimate Europa League game in the campaign. It's big game, really big game. And the injuries and the ineligible players are mounting up. So in terms of the team news and injuries, what are we looking at?
So it is quite the extensive list, as you can see here. Positive news, Romero's back in full team training, so I doubt he'll come back into this game, but potentially a view for maybe Sunday or next week coming back into the team, which is really positive. We're going to need him, but he was obviously pictured in first team training today. We've got Wilson Odebear, Vicario, Basuma, Brennan, Timo, all likely to be around 10th of February, so we're not likely to see them anytime soon. We've got Mickey van der Ven apparently set to return to first team training next week, but he's going to be unavailable for this one. We have Destiny Doggy is probably not going to be seen till March. Kinski and Jed Spence are both ineligible for this game, so they're going to be unavailable as well. So it is quite an extensive list into this game. How many players am I counting there? That's 12 players, I think, on screen. Didn't even include Sergio Reguilon, who's ineligible as well. But that's 12 first-team players currently on screen who are going to be unavailable for this game on Thursday. And what is a big, big game for our top 8 prospects.
Yeah, man, that injury or that list is just madness. It really is pure madness. But look, let's make a stab of what we think the lineup's going to be. I mean, look, to be honest, we say make a stab. There's probably not too much options. So it's probably one of the easier predicted lineups that we've had to do. In goal, Fraser Forster's been given the nod, you know, as of late. Oh well, throughout the campaign, when Vicario has been out particularly. But Brandon Austin came in against Newcastle and really performed, so I think he's going to stick with him.
Yeah, I'm undecided, to be honest. Obviously, Forster. Who's on the bench last game? Was it Forster or Austin?
I think they were both on the bench.
Were they both on the bench?
I think so. Which game was the last game?
Against Everton.
Oh, against Everton.
Yeah, against Everton. Who was on the bench? So I think that might tell us who we're thinking.
Probably both of them, to be honest. No Forster, just Austin.
So I think Austin will probably play them, because I think that's proof to me, because I think Forster's been back in training for a while now, obviously after suffering quite badly from that illness, and the fact that he's back in training and Austin's the one on the bench, that probably tells me Austin's going to play on Thursday. But the reason why I was a bit undecided is the reality is Forster is obviously the more experienced keeper. He is experienced at this level, and it's a big game, and do you want to trust it for a keeper who obviously has little experience in such a big game where we need to win? And obviously maybe before you can Forster manage the situation a bit better. But the fact that Austin's on the bench, I think that tells me that he feels that Austin should be the one coming in.
Yeah. All right. I'm happy to go for Brandon Austin, and yeah, I thought maybe we should have just gone for Brandon Austin in the Europa League squad ahead of Fraser Forster and put Spence in anyway. But now we're here and Fraser Forster and Brandon is fit and Brandon's getting the nod. What's the sense of it? You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just so stupid. But anyway, let's get into the back four. In terms of the right back, we've only got one option, and that's going to be Pedro Porro.
Yeah, who's obviously played a lot. He actually gave a quite interesting interview. I don't know if you read it on Football London.
I saw clips of it.
Yeah, it was a good article by Ali Gold from Pedro Porro, saying how, you know, everyone tells him all the fans tell him he's tired and he needs a rest, but he says, I'm fine, I don't need a rest, I can play, I've got very good fitness. That's kind of what he was saying. And he was saying everyone's together, we're all trying to get through this situation. So it was quite a good. He also mentioned training. He said that people saying that the training's too hard, but that isn't the case, and we don't do such intense training right now. We're just focusing on recovery all the time. So it was quite interesting what he was saying. But obviously, there's no doubt that the last 2 months his form hasn't been good, apart from some good games sprinkled in there, and we're going to need him to put on a big display here against Hoffenheim.
Centre backs, I think it most likely will be Dragoshin and Davis.
I think Dragoshin's definitely a centre back, so he's definitely there. So the question is, what's happened here? The question is it going to be Davis the left back and Gray centre back, or Gray left back and Davis centre back?
I think he'll play Gray left back.
That's the question, because in Europa League he's done both. There was one game, I can't remember which one, I think it might be Ferencváros. He started with Davis left back and Gray centre back, and then he switched it and went to Davis at centre back.
I think Davis left back days are over. To be honest, I think he would much prefer Gray there. He's I just feel like whenever Gray's played left back, he's been pretty good as well. So and when we've seen Davis at left back, I think he's been caught out. And he looked a lot better when he moved into the middle. So I think that's what he'll do.
I think so as well. And also it gets that left footer on that left-hand side of the centre. I guess left back as well, but we've been playing with the right footer at left back for so long now, we're probably used to it. So I think that's probably how our back line is going to be. Romero's back, so I guess there is maybe a chance he gets rushed in, but I think a lot of people probably don't want that. Is he on the bench though, you reckon, for this one?
Maybe.
Does he travel?
I mean, I'm not opposed to him travelling, but I don't think he's going to even get on the pitch.
But let's say, he's in first team training, and he's maybe, we don't want to risk him, but he's fit. He may be fit enough to take part, and we don't leave him on the bench, and then one of these centre backs gets injured. Are we thinking we should have had him on the bench?
Potentially, but I think I would prefer just to err on the side of caution with Romero. I said I'm not against him travelling. I'm not against him being on the bench, but I'd prefer him just not to have any minutes.
I'd prefer him.
If needs must, and one of our centre backs get injured, we've got no choice. But at this moment in time, I would say plan for him not to play any minutes.
Yeah, and I think that will be the plan. But obviously, as has been the situation with Tottenham this whole season, plans do seem to change. All right, next up.
We're going to look at the midfield.
Yeah, so I think the number 6 has to be Bentancur because Basuma's injured. So he's going to go there. I guess we only have 3 centre mids.
Well, it's Bentancur, Bergvall, and Maddison.
Yeah, because Sarr's probably... Look, to be fair, we don't really know about Sarr, but we're going to guess he's probably out if he's pulled out of training. So we're going to go Bentancur, Bergvall in the 8 with Maddison in the 10. So that will be our midfield 3, and that will probably likely have to be our midfield 3 on Sunday as well, because if Sarr has got any sort of injury that's going to keep him out for any period of time, he'll probably be out for the next 2 games. So that midfield, look, on paper it's not the worst, but the worry is when you've got to play them every game. Obviously we're putting a lot of pressure on Bergvall at the moment. I understand he's playing well, don't get me wrong, I'm delighted with him, but we are obviously putting a lot of pressure on him, aren't we?
We are, but I think more pressure is on the likes of players that have done this week in, week out throughout the whole season, like a Pedro Porro, like a Son Heung-min, and like a Kulusevski. I think more pressure's on them. Bergvall at this moment in time is playing a lot of football, yeah, don't get me wrong, but throughout the course of the season he actually hasn't seen that much football, and over the course of the season doesn't have that much football in his legs, where those 3 players in particular, I mean, they've just been overplayed massively. Yeah,
but I think you've got to be more careful with young kids and 18-year-olds, players who are teenagers, because they're still developing, they're still learning the game, they're still growing into themselves. So, there is sometimes a risk when you overplay them at that kind of age. That can actually have a detrimental effect. But
it's not that much he's played. I mean, 390 minutes over the last 5 games.
I'm
not too much.
It should be all right. I'm just saying, we got to be wary of that situation. But yeah, that'll be the midfield 3. And I'm not saying it's a bad midfield 3, but obviously Bentancur's just coming back after a couple of weeks again. And let's just hope that
it should be a fresh midfield. That's the reality. It should be a fresh midfield. But we have seen sometimes when Bentancur comes back from a layoff, that sometimes he's not at his sharpest.
Yeah, and let's hope that's different this time.
Yeah. In terms of the forward line, it's going to be an interesting one. On the right-hand side will be Kulusevski, because we've got literally no one else, which, I'm not too happy about, because I keep saying, I just feel like Kulusevski, Porro, and potentially even Sonny are just an injury waiting to happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, but as you say, Brennan's picked up an injury now. We just got very little option in this game. And Decky, I know he's doing such a big effort for the team, but he just seems to be ploughing through at the moment. I know recent weeks maybe hasn't been at his best. I thought he had a good game actually on Sunday. But yeah, I think he's just going to have to play, unfortunately. And as much as I would love to give him a rest, it's a big game as well. I'm sure he'll want to be out there. Let's hope we can at some point in this game give him a rest. But yeah, I think he's going to have to start.
Yeah, up front and the left-hand side. So what have we got? Who have we got left?
I do think left-hand side will be Mikey Moore. He came off the bench and did so well. And he did start against Tamworth the other week. I know he only got an hour, but he started and obviously started to get in the game. And I think his cameo against Everton was probably enough for me to suggest he could get a start in this game, despite the fact that it's a big game. I think with Richarlison still not quite there, I think I think you'll go for Mikey Moore.
Yeah, I agree. And I've been, everyone knows my feelings on Mikey Moore, how much I rate the guy and how much I back the guy. I've got no qualms on putting him in. I think he's a top talent. And even if we didn't have too much injuries in the forward line, I'd be looking to potentially start him with the amount of minutes that are in some of these players' legs. So it just begs the question of the number 9. There are 3 options. Son, who started on the weekend. You've got Richarlison, who came on and bagged the goal. And you've got Will Lancashire as well, who's barely played much football all season. He did start at Galatasaray, had a fairly good game, got on the score sheet and ended up getting sent off. If it was me making the decision, I'd probably start Lancashire in view to start Richarlison on the weekend and give Richarlison and Sonny minutes off the bench in this game. But I just feel like Ange will probably go for Sonny, even though I think it's the wrong decision.
I think he'll go Son up front and then he'll probably go Son up front, and then if it's not working, probably move Son back over to the left and bring on Richarlison. I do think Richarlison will obviously come on. He got 45 minutes and he got through it well on Sunday, so that was a big positive. Maddison, though, hinted in the interview after the game that he's not near ready to start yet. So if that's the case, he can't start in this game because you don't want to risk him picking up an injury. And because it's such a crunch game, I think he's going to go with Son. He's going to want our captain on the pitch. I know he wasn't good on Sunday and missed some chances, but I'm sure if he gets those chances again, he'll back himself to score them. We're just going to have to hope that he finds a different level on this game because it is a very big game. I do think he's going to want his captain there. So I think he is going to go with Son up front and then maybe sub on Richarlison maybe after the hour or something like that.
The reality is he wants his captain there every game, and I think we got to be doing more to protect these players, particularly the ones that we've got options for. And I think Son is pretty much the only player that we've got an option for in the number 9 position. So I think if we're smart, we do play Lancashire. I really do.
I mean, yeah, you're saying that, and then if Lancashire starts and we don't win or something, and people are going to say you shouldn't have played him. You know what I mean? That's what hindsight is a great thing. I think I think he's going to have to play one of Richarlison or Sonny here. I think he's going to have to start one of them. I think it'll be Son.
I just think it's the bad call because we just can't keep running these players into the ground when there is options.
When you need results as well, though.
Yeah, but when you need results, tired players don't get you to the results. Fresh players will get you to the result.
Look, I'd like to see Lancashire because I'd like to see more of Lancashire, I should say, than we've seen. That's for sure. I just think in this situation, I don't know. He should have done it before. I think you can blame him for that. I just don't know in this situation if it's the right call.
Yeah, it's just like it was silly that. Again, someone just mentioned in the comments like Lancashire's got no minutes against Tamworth as well.
Yeah, I don't get that. I agree with you there.
Like,
I agree with you there.
What is? Look, we've been through this a million times. I'm not going to keep banging on about it, but we just need to give players that haven't been playing too much minutes on the pitch, and pretty much Lancashire is the only option in the squad that we could realistically start on the game on Thursday. And look, if it's not going well, you've got options off the bench to change it. So. Anyway, that is our predicted lineup going into it. Brandon Austin in goal, Pedro Porro right back, Archie Gray left back, Ben Davis and Radu Dragusin in the centre back positions with Bentancur, Bergvall and James Maddison as a midfield trio. Son up top with Decky on the right and Mikey Moore on the left. What kind of bench are we going to have there? It's just like Lancashire and that's it. Lancashire will probably be the most like
Lancashire,
experienced player. Oh, Richarlison, yeah.
Lancashire, Richarlison, yeah. I think I can't see who else would be on the bench. Yeah, Lancashire and Richarlison, and then you've got guys like Olasesi and these youngsters who probably won't be given any game time.
Probably like that Williams Barnett or something will be on the bench as well. It's just like madness. The bench is going to be like all teenagers apart from Richarlison.
Yeah, Romero potentially, maybe Romero. Based on that, you might have to put Romero on the bench, but yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Well, that is our predicted lineup. What is your predicted scoreline?
1-1.
1-1. You don't think we can go there and get the result?
in this current at this moment as well. I'm obviously we'll touch on it in the preview, but Hoffenheim won their first game in a while on the weekend. Maybe that gives them a bit of confidence boost. As much as they're also struggling in their domestic league badly as well, they do have some good players there, especially in the front line. And it's a big game for them. It's a big game for us. A draw just about keeps us in it for that top 8, albeit, you know, our chances take a blow, but it keeps us in with the hunt going to the last game. So I'd love to say we're definitely going to go there and win. I just got a feeling away from home against a Bundesliga team, it just might be a draw.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I don't think we're going to go to Germany and get the win. Right now, I'll take a draw, to be honest, with the way the squad's looking, with the way the bench is looking, with tired players on the pitch. And with, you know, you're looking forward to a big game on the weekend as well against Leicester, where we just need to take 3 points. So, yeah, I'll go for 2-2.